Hello everyone, welcome to Science and Tech series with Dr. Vivek Rana. Topic for today's discussion is race to quantum supremacy. There have been some interesting developments in field of quantum computing which we'll be discussing in this session. Decade from 2010 to 2020 would be best remembered for nation investing heavily to build fastest supercomputer. There were two close contenders right from USA and China. USA had built some remarkable supercomputers right from IBM Sequoia to, you could say, IBM Sierra, and currently the Summit is representing US as the fastest supercomputer, and it has a remarkable, you could say, the peak performance of 200 petaflops. China is not far behind. It has also built some remarkable supercomputers right from the Tianhe series to the more recent Sunway Yahoo Light. But currently at this point of time, it is the Japan which is leading the race with Fugaku supercomputer. But when we will reach in 2030, these rivalries may be thing of past because quantum computing is here. And there were a lot of naysayers who were saying that countries who are investing in this technology, which holds promise of elevating nations in the race to quantum supremacy, might descend into quantum winter. But the recent developments in 2019-2020 suggest that quantum computing would take practical shape in near future, and the next race is not going to be of supercomputers but for quantum supremacy. Before we get into what these significant developments are, let us just first differentiate how quantum computing is different from the classical non-quantum computing. The classical computers work on bits which are could be either 0 or 1, whereas in quantum computing they work on qubits. Qubits can be 0, 1, or they could be both. So basically they are working on the principle of superposition and entanglement. These are quite complex principles. If you are from physics, you will be able to make them out. Otherwise you could just rely, in simple terms we can say, they are able to perform more complex calculations. They are able to store more data per less energy. So this is where they hold immense potential in solving some of the world's most complex calculations in the data mining as well as the drug research. So financial sector as well as other sectors involved in the bioinformatics are expected to be the major gainers from this remarkable technology. So what exactly have happened in last 2 years which gives us confidence that yes, the quantum communications, or you could say quantum technology, is the future of science and tech? First and foremost, in 2019, it was Google's Squamore, which performed incredible feat of solving a complex problem which most fastest supercomputer existing at that time would have taken almost 10,000 years to perform. So that feat is described as quantum supremacy. Now again I would like to just simplify it for you. What exactly is this term quantum supremacy? When a machine performs a function which is almost impractical for a supercomputer to perform, it is touted as quantum supremacy. If it totally overshadows it, and then it is termed as quantum advantage. So this is what the Google achieved, and that claim has now been once again taken by in 2020 by China. Recently, China built its first quantum computer, which is Juzang. Juzang, this name is referring to 2000-year old mathematical text from Chinese, and it has made history by solving, you could say, complex Gaussian Boson sampling. Since this is a photon based quantum computer, it was able to detect 76 photons precisely, and which in a matter of just 200 seconds. which typically a fastest supercomputer would have taken almost 2 billion years. Yes, you heard that right, 2 billion years. So in the simple terms, we have to gauge the performance. We can say it is 100 trillion times faster than the current fastest supercomputer of China, which is the, you could say, Sunway-Yahoo Light, or if you compare it to the Google Squamore, it is 10 billion times faster. So yes, there are critics who will say that it is just programmed to perform a limited function, and we should not be too over enthusiastic with this development, but this is are the small stride, because this is comparatively more stable than the earlier Google one, because the, you could say, the Google Squamore relies on superconductivity, whereas this, the Chinese one, is based on photonic, you could say, quantum model. So there will be more some innovations in the field, and we will see the practicality of it. So currently we can say it's the US and China which are competing with one another to build or you could say claim quantum supremacy. China has already built first hack-proof satellite based on quantum technology, which is MISIUS, and it is also already building world longest quantum communication network. $10 billion have also been allocated to the National Laboratory for Quantum Informative Science, and the US is likely to follow the suit. So let's see which in 2030 which country eventually stands out, because any country which would be investing in quantum computing is likely to lead in science and tech, since the applications are going to penetrate in different fields. And coming to India, it's not that India is totally ignorant of the developments. It has taken a timely step this time. In the recent budget, we had seen 8,000 crores being allocated to QUEST program. Now this QUEST program stands for Quantum Enabled Science and Technology. So government with limited capacity is trying its best to promote this venture, because we don't want to be laggards, because currently there is an immense scope, and we should be hopeful that yes, countries can have these moments of quantum supremacy and should not be too perturbed by the phenomena of quantum winter. Quantum winter is generally described as a term for to highlight the pessimist knows that countries investing in a technology which might not take practicality, and all the hype might die down soon, and eventually it will be wastage of countries' valuable resources. But then these movements like this quantum supremacy ignite the hope that yes, this technology is of future and we should embrace it with full hands. So I hope this session was useful in some way in clearing what quantum supremacy is, who are the two movements which we already had about the quantum supremacy, and let's be hopeful the third one does not take much time any longer. So I wishing you all the best in your preparation. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.